Good morning, everyone. I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Wotjobaluk, Jardwa, Jali, Wagaya, and Yakagal people, and we pay our respects to the elders both past and present.
Hand over heart and say the oath with me. I will honour my country, Australia. I will respect my parents, teachers and all community members. I will obey school and community rules and do my best to learn at all times.
Jagger, Radisson, the next section.
Student of the Week awards are presented to students who have demonstrated one of our school values of respect, responsibility, excellence, honesty and tolerance. This week, the following students have demonstrated one of these values and received the Student of the Week award for their class. From Pret Schmidt, Amela Tui, showing the value of excellence for being determined to get all her high frequency words correct so that she could get up a level.
From Pret Briggs, Henry Crafter, showing the value of excellence for his epic dance moves.
Prep St. Clair McConnell, Sareba Leonie for excellence for her participation in WebEx meetings this week.
From Year 1 Dorset Hartridge, Hunter Tui, showing the value of excellence for his excellent labelled diagram of the polar bear. Well done, Hunter.
From 1 Bennett, Parker Dickerson, showing the value of excellence for outstanding efforts to produce such lovely handwriting. Well done, Parker.
1 to Mrs. Sadie, Eli McLean for tolerance, for pushing through all WebEx's meeting at a high standard, even if you had older siblings annoying you or twins hanging off your shoulders.
From Year 2 Richardson, Ella Schultz, showing the value of excellence for using interesting words in her writing and producing excellent work throughout remote learning.
From Year 2 Woolworth, Madison Laws and Ivy Friend, showing the value of excellence for all the excellent work that you have completed and shared with me this week. Well done.
1 to Miss Ashton, Emilia Cameron for responsibility, being an eager participant in all of our class WebEx meetings this week.
From Year 3 Adams, Lola Bales, showing the value of respect for always being cheerful and polite during our WebEx meetings and for the great effort you put into your work.
From Year 3 Nolan, Dominic Walter, showing the value of responsibility for extending his own learning this week by using Google Sheets to represent his data.
3 for Miss Dossett, Raven Pywell for excellence for her great organisation and participation in our WebEx sessions throughout this week. Keep up the great work and keep on smiling, Ravens.
From Year 4 McGinniskin, Rihanna Thorough, showing the value of responsibility for her commitment to reading and taking control of her learning. Fantastic effort, Rihanna.
From Year 4 Davies, Sophie Risson, showing the value of excellence for completing her set weekly tasks to an excellent standard each day and for writing an engaging, creative story. Well done, Sophie.
4 5 Miss Quayle, Stevie Clark for responsibility for completing all her work to a very high standard, both while working at home and at school. She's also working super hard at her maths, which is fantastic to see. Keep up the hard work, Stevie.
From Year 5 Vivian, Charlotte Klitcher, Pippa McDonald and Henry Walscott, showing the value of excellence for doing a great job of their writing activity, creating terrific little slideshows about Maltesers, meerkats, and mammals.
From Year 5 Werner, Emily Hutchinson, showing the value of excellence for her outstanding effort to produce interesting and well-edited pieces of writing.
5-6 Miss Hamilton, Lily Robson, for excellence for participating in WebEx meetings with a great attitude. She surprised me this week with her ability to play the keyboard as well. Keep up the awesome work, Lily. Also from 5-6 Hamilton, we have Ashley Sincotta for excellence for completing lots of work this week to an excellent standard. It is great to see Ashley participate online by sharing her work with her peers on Google Classroom.
From Year 6 Adams, Thomas Risson, Stella Williams, and Hannah Ackworth, all for the value of excellence, for showing excellence in all activities completed this week.
From Year 6 Driscoll, Jack Stevenson Hatherall, showing the value of respect for always joining our WebEx calls with a smile and making wonderful contributions in discussions about work.
Mrs. Francis, Billy Harrison for Billy's delicious looking cupcake picture. Bianca Cunningham for Bianca's excellent drawing and paper collage of an old sailing ship. Duncan Fraser for his detailed pattern and use of colour in the lettering art activity in remote learning.
From Science, Mrs. Bacon, Annabelle, Isaac, Natalie, and Emily Gregor, showing the value of excellence for their excellent putty making skills during Science Week.
From Science Mrs. Bond, Isabel Dunlop, showing the value of excellence for engaging in the Science Week experiments and doing an amazing job at them.
From PE, Charlie Murray and Nate Bacon, showing the value of responsibility for being committed in completing work tasks set in PE for the week.
Congratulations to all of this week's Students of the Week. We might just go back a step, school captains. Addison, if you can introduce the next section around the special guest this week.
During this remote learning period, we are going to have a special guest as part of our assembly. We hope you enjoy hearing from today's guest.
Please give a warm welcome to Mrs. Sadie and Mr. Richardson. Today we'll be asking you some questions about remote learning.
Mr. Richardson, how have you coped with the whole remote teaching?
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been interesting. It's also been a bit challenging at times. I certainly do miss seeing kids at school and the way we usually do things. But it's also been really good to see how well the schools responded. So all the teachers and all the students, how well we've all responded to remote learning and how well we're all doing. And it's also been a good opportunity to experience some new things. So like the Facebook show that Mr. Warworth and myself run, we would have never got the opportunity to do that if it hadn't been for remote learning. So it's also been good in some ways, but it's also been challenging in others.
Miss Sadie, in your second year of teaching.
What's Hannah doing?
Hey everyone, thanks for having me. Have I enjoyed my second year of teaching? It's definitely not what I thought it was going to be, one bit. It has been stressful at times, but I've been surrounded by such beautiful colleagues and students and parents and carers that's made every bit of it worthwhile. I do really love my job and I wouldn't change it for the world.
What made you want to be a teacher, Mr. Richardson?
Probably a few things, Brock. Well, I've sort of come from a bit of a family of teachers. My mum did a little bit of teaching. I've got an older brother who's a teacher as well as a few aunties and uncles as well. So that's definitely been a factor in me wanting to become a teacher. I do really enjoy working with kids as well. And also I did a lot of footy coaching sort of before I was a teacher, and I really enjoyed that. So it sort of was a career path moving into that as well.
Miss Sadie, are you finding remote learning 2.0 easier than 1.0? If so, how?
Well, I wouldn't say it's been easier, but it has been better than what it was the first time round. I like how we really looked at what we did last time and changed it for the better this time. It's just made it a lot smoother for parents and students, and also us teachers as well. My favourite thing has been getting rid of the packs, because they would take forever to put together and I would always forget something. So I'd always have parents messaging me.
Mr. Richardson, do you think that being a Year 2 teacher is harder or easier than being a Year 6 teacher?
Oh, that's a tricky question, Charlie. I'm not 100% sure I could probably answer that one with any sort of evidence, because I've never taught anything higher than grade 2s, and I certainly enjoy teaching the grade 2s. But I think it's both grade 6s and grade 2s. They both present different challenges. The older years, a lot, or probably more difficult sort of work, but as well as it's a lot more online, a lot more use of the iPads and that sort of stuff, compared to in the younger ones. We usually use a lot more hands-on stuff and a lot of cutting and pasting and stuff like that. So different challenges, and I'm sure they're probably about the same.
Miss Sadie, what have you done to keep active during quarantine?
Does walking to and from the fridge count as activity? No, the first time around, I would get on my treadmill about 8:30 at night and I'd go for a 10K run. This second time though, I've been a bit more lazy and I only go for about a 3K run every couple of days for the week. And that's about it.
Then, what motivated you throughout remote learning?
Another good question, Annabelle. I've moved back home for this whole remote learning and this 6-week lockdown period. I've moved back home to Ballarat. So I'm back living with my family, back living with my mum and dad and my 2 sisters. So that's been great to see them and be around sort of family in this time, as well as having my class WebEx chats every day. It's great to see my kids' faces, because I certainly miss them a lot.
Mrs. Sadie, has on-site learning had better rewards to seeing students' smiles than via WebEx?
I really love seeing kids smile in every space, so whether it's WebEx or the classroom. But I do really wish to see all those WebEx smiles in the classroom very soon.
Mr. Richard, teaching or being principal?
Good question. Well, considering this is my first year of teaching, and I haven't taught a full term yet, I think I'll just stick with teaching for now. Brock?
Yeah.
I wanted to become a teacher because I loved kids and I loved being in the classroom. And I think if I was a principal, I just wouldn't get to do that. So definitely a teacher.
Mr. Richardson, what do you do in your spare time?
Yeah, not too much at the moment. Not too much. As like most of us, we sort of can't do too much. But generally, I enjoy playing and watching footy. That's always been a fairly big part of my life. These days, it's sort of been a lot more Netflix and Stan and Disney and a lot of movies and a lot of TV series at the moment. which is been a lot of fun. But hopefully I can sort of get back out and start playing footy and start exercising a little bit more as well.
Mrs. Sadies, is it harder with your students not having their own iPads?
Yeah, I think it is, but we've found ways around it. Just from talking to parents, it's been hard for them having only a couple of devices and more kids than devices. So back at school, we've had to really look at what other teachers are doing when they're doing their WebExes and make sure that we don't clash, especially if they need their siblings' device. I have witnessed a few arguments between siblings fighting over devices.
How hard is it to prepare and make the grids every week, Mr. Richardson?
Brock, a bit of an interesting question there. It is difficult, and there are some challenges involved, but it's also sort of been pretty easy in a way. We've got a great, as Miss Sadie said before, we've got a great team, and when you surround yourself with good people and you've all got different roles within the team, it all runs pretty smoothly. So I'm very lucky to be part of a good team to get the grids organised.
Thanks, Mr. Richardson and Miss Sadies, for joining us for this week's assembly. We hope to be seeing you again soon.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks, guys.
And a thank you from me also to our special guests today. You've done a great job, and well done to the vice captains for putting all those questions together. That was terrific. We will continue to have a special guest each week while we're in remote learning and doing assembly this way. And I think I might try and talk our school captains next week into possibly interviewing a family. So we'll see how we go. See if we can get some parents and kids involved out there and see how everything's travelling for you guys. Returning work, we said at the start of assembly, remote learning, that we weren't too worried about returning work, but everyone's doing such a good job at getting lots of things posted up on the Facebook pages and returned via Zuno. So I just want to say thank you and well done to lots of you. We said about not being too worried about returning work because we didn't want people to be feeling that added pressure. But if you are, it's great. It's terrific that you're popping those things up there so your teachers can have a look. So keep up the great work there, and keep up the great work with the WebExes as well, joining those each week. Just a reminder to people, if there is on-site supervision that's needed, that form needs to be completed each week. So it's important that you don't forget that. And just the last thing from me is Year 6s, some things are a bit normal, so transition continues on, and lots of people have received notification about SELP and those sorts of things. So congratulations to those kids from our school who are into SELP classes next year, and all those things around transition are sort of firing up and getting ready for 2021. So we hope all the families have got things in order so that they can get ready for secondary school next year. That's it from me, Jagger. Thank you, and thanks again to everyone for joining today. 48 participants, my WebEx says, so that's fantastic. I have so many of you on. Over to you, Jagger.
Thank you for joining us for today's assembly. Students, please follow your teacher's instructions. Assembly dismissed.